So August 13th, 1986 is when I was born, and I'm approaching 40. So with approaching 40, there's been a lot of changes in my life. There's been a lot of grief. There's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of just dealing with things. And I said, you know what? How about I do this on a public platform to show people not only what I'm going through, how I was raised, and things that have shaped me as a man and molded me to this point, but to also work through a lot of these trials and tribulations with the people I care about, which is my Facebook community. So it's a lot of people that have been watching me, a lot of people reaching out to me offline, telling me that me telling my story has been impactful already. So I appreciate y'all. I really do. I really do appreciate y'all. So if you're new here, then you will know how we start my podcast. We're going to start by putting God first. So the first thing I'm going to do, we call the 6 o'clock. 6:05 right now is what time I got. So we're just 5 minutes in. So this is perfect timing. If you don't know, I love whiskey and I love bourbons. So we do have a sip every single time I'm on this podcast. That's what gets me warmed up to talk to y'all. But we also open with a prayer. So we're going to do prayer and a pour is what I call it. So at the 6:05, we're going to do a quick prayer. And then I'm going to talk to y'all about the bottle that I picked up today. Got a little pour back here behind me over on the refrigerator back here. So, the prayer. Let's go ahead and get into it. So if you're a believer, bow your heads. This is week 3, Built from the Break, the podcast. Lord, first off, I just want to thank you for allowing this community to grow. We're at almost 200 plus followers, people who have reached out to me offline that are telling me that this story and my story is impacting them in ways that's kind of assisting them with their life, and as well as helping them seek help, but therapy and things in that nature to just get the help they need to move through trials and tribulations that they're going through in life. So I just ask that you just continue to give me the energy, the impact, allow the words to flow freely tonight. Have a good time with my community. And as always, the biggest purpose of this is for self-healing. So for mental healing, self-healing, and the healing of our community to make sure that people understand that you're not going through things alone. So just open your mouth, talk to people, and there's a whole community of people that are going through things at the same time. So we would just ask that you bless this podcast, continue to bless this podcast, continue to keep everybody that's watching this safe, their family safe. And with that, let the church say amen. All right. Y'all ready? Y'all ready for the pour? All right. So I went by the spirit store today, and I was looking at the different whiskeys. I was looking at the different bourbons. I actually looked at tequila today. I even looked at something called soju. I was looking at some soju today, but I was like, nah. So the soju, I'm going to do soju. But I'm going to do it on the military appreciation stream. So when I do the podcast, when I talk about my military career, I'm going to do soju for that one. So that's going to be a dangerous one. So we're going to see how that go. The other one is I'm going to do for the homecoming. So I got a podcast. Well, we got an episode called Homecoming. That's where I'm going to dive into college life. So on that episode, I decided the liquor of choice for that episode is going to be Incredible Hulk and Blue Juice. It's going to be both. So we got a sponsor. So shout out to Nat. We got a Blue Juice sponsor. We're going to get some bottles. Homecoming, that podcast is going, that episode is going to be dope. So we got a Blue Juice sponsor for that episode. Plus, I'm going to have some Hypnotic and Hennessy over here. And I'm going to have a little side cup of some Incredible Hulk. But without further ado, as y'all know, every time I start my stream, I got to take my walk real quick. I'm about to go get my cup. I'm about to put some ice in it. I'm going to pour up a little bit of this pour. So this drink, from what I hear, I can't show bottles or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to read into the Facebook stuff. But I can't tell you what it is. So the bottle is called Penelope. I'm going to type that in the chat. Let me type that in the chat for y'all so y'all know what I'm drinking over here. And it's peach old fashioned. Did I do it right? There we go. Peach old. I can't spell. There we go. Okay. So it's called Penelope Peach Old Fashioned. It's posted right now. I'll give it a second. It's pre-mixed. It's a pre-mixed old fashioned. We don't got to do nothing. All we got to do is pour it over some ice and it said it's good to go. But I do got my cherries. I got my dark premium cocktail cherries. So I'm going to throw a couple cherries on top of it. We got to do it right. So let me go get this real quick. We got to get it right. Oh, I forgot about these too. I bought something else too. Y'all like my little ice blocks. So I bought one more thing. I bought some green tea shots. They had a bag of green tea shots at the store too, so I bought that too. All right. So let's pour up a little bit of Penelope. We're gonna do a heavy pour tonight, and then I'm gonna grab one of these green tea shots. They come in like a little bag. There we go. I just threw them in the freezer. So yeah, this don't have no labeling on it, but this is what it looked like. It's a green tea shot. So we got green tea shot. We got that. Let me go ahead and get my premium cocktail. I got my Penelope peach old fashioned poured up. Move this mic over a little bit, and let's stab a couple of these cherries. That's 1, 2. Man, I could be a bartender. Look at that. Look at that. Ooh. Okay. Bam. Don't laugh at that skewer. That's actually like a barbecue skewer I found downstairs. But yeah, so we good. All right. So if y'all, it's Monday, people say, what's the best day to drink? I tell them any day that ends in day, but be responsible. So let's take a sip and try this old fashioned out. Let me take another sip. I don't know how I feel about this one, y'all. I gotta keep it real with y'all. I don't know. It's growing on me a little bit, but I don't 100% know how I feel about this one, to be honest with you. Oh, I am on the wrong internet. Y'all give me 1 second. I hope this doesn't mess up my stream. I just know, well, don't worry about it. I ain't gonna mess it up. We're gonna keep it rolling. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna log in on Facebook so I can see the chat. I was like, why is this taking so long to load up my chat? I wonder if I switch internets real quick, will it completely mess it up? We good though. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the stream on my phone as well so I can see the chat. All right, there we go. My bad. We good now. I can see the chat. I got it on my phone. We're gonna improvise. I'm not on my home Wi-Fi. I'm on Xfinity Wi-Fi. God, dog. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to check that before I started the stream. But we gonna roll. If we do run into any issue, y'all just type in the chat if it feels like it starts to disconnect, and then I go ahead and I have to switch over the internet. So just let me know if you feel like something's off. But other than that, we're gonna keep it rolling. So episode 3. This episode is called From Icy Cups to Millionaire. So if you was with me episode 2, I went into the 5 dads. I talked about the 5 father figures I had in my life. And I talked about going home over the summers. So that's where we're picking up. We're picking up with me going home over the summer. So I want to put this in perspective. I was born in a little small town called Mount Vernon, Illinois. So in Mount Vernon, I grew up on 15th Street. So that's how you know how small the town was. It's street numbers. So I'm on 15th Street. That's where my dad lives. My grandmother stays on 15th Street as well. And when I tell you she's like a hop, skip away, like I can see her house from my house. If I step out on the front porch, I can look down the street and I can see my grandmother's house. So very, very small town. It's probably 20 houses in between my dad's house and my grandmother's house. Probably less than that. So over the summer, a little backstory on my grandmother. So my grandmother had 11 kids. So we got 6 boys, 5 girls when it comes to my aunts and my uncles. So we had a big family, real big family, lots of cousins. I was talking to some of them today. We got a lot of cousins. Whole family's huge. So I go home over the summer. Like I said, my biological dad, I'm going home to spend time with him over the summer, and we kicking it. And over the summer, I'm probably like around the age of maybe 7 to 8 years old. So I'm at, it's over the summertime. I'm chilling with my grandmother. Every single day over the summer, I always went to my grandmother's house every day. My routine was I woke up in the morning. My dad had already left to go to work. My mom already left to go to work. I woke up, made my bed, brushed my teeth, ate breakfast, went out to the garage, locked up the house, went out to the garage, got my bike, and I rode down to my grandmother's house. That was law for me. That's morning routine. So I get down to my grandmother's house one day, and she's like, baby, I want you to help me clean my shed out. Now, my grandmother was an entrepreneur too. My grandmother used to be a hairstylist. So she had a beauty shop. Her shed, her little outdoor shed next to her house was a beauty salon. She had a couple chairs in there. She had some dryers in there. Just all the stuff you need to run a beauty salon. Now that's good. Hold on. Time out real quick. I'm going to take a picture of that and put it on the page. That's amazing. That's the green tea shots. That's good. Woo. Yeah. That's better than the old fashioned. I ain't want to knock Penelope like that, but I'm going to try the other bottle. They got 3 different flavors. They got an apple one and they got a whiskey wood or something like that. So I'm going to try it again, but that's good. This green tea shot. But anyway, I go down to my grandmother's house this summer. I'm probably about 7 to 8 years old. And my grandma was like, hey, I need you to help me clean out the shed. So I'm like, okay, let me go help grandma out. That's nothing. Always helping her out anyway. So I started cleaning out the shed. We're getting rid of old dryers, people picking stuff up, people taking stuff to the dump, people throwing stuff away. He said, take it to the head. I'm over here sipping it. It's supposed to be a shot, right? So people like, they doing their thing. So we clean out the shed. So I get the shed completely cleaned out. I sweep it all out. I'm spraying it for spiders. It's a wooden shed. So, just old people shed. So I'm up there knocking down cobwebs. I'm cleaning the shed out like fully. I done bought bug spray cans. I'm hitting all the corners. Like, even at 8 years old, I was like really I was on it. I was on my game. So I'm cleaning this shed out like crazy. Then we had a gentleman that stayed across from my grandmother named Pat. So Pat, he had a refrigerator for her. Big old deep freezer. So he brings his deep freezer over, or, he gets it hauled over, and we put the deep freezer in the outdoor shed. So now I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I didn't even know what my grandmother was doing, but I really didn't question her. Like, it wasn't like on the forefront of my head to be questioning what she got going on. So I'm just helping grandma out. Whatever. She need this moved, let's move it. So we get the outdoor shed cleaned out. We put the deep freezer in there. And then a few days later, I'm going to check on her, and she said, hey, come over here and help me out. So she called me. I go over to her house, go help her out, see what she wants. So I get to my grandmother's house, and we go into the kitchen, and she was like, I'm going to teach you how to make something. And I'm like, okay. So she pulls out some Kool-Aid, and she starts making Kool-Aid. So in my head, I'm over here like, all right, I'm about to drink some Kool-Aid. Like, I don't get what we doing here, but it's grandma, so we chilling, we bonding. So my grandmother proceeds to make some Kool-Aid, and she pulls out these styrofoam cups, and she starts pouring Kool-Aid, different color Kool-Aids in these different cups. So I'm sitting here just watching, standing by, asking her, can I drink a cup, just kind of chilling. And she was like, I want you to take these cups and put them on this tray. She had like a baking sheet. She's like, I want you to put them on this baking sheet. And she's like, you need to be really careful. Do not spill this Kool-Aid. And she's like, I want you to walk it over there to the shed, and I want you to stick it in the deep freezer. So I'm like, all right. I'm still oblivious as a kid to what's going on. So a few weeks ago, I put on Facebook, and I asked y'all, what do y'all call these things? When I grew up, we called them icy cups. That's what it was. We called it icy cups. So hold on real quick. I'm about to pull this up on the screen. I got a picture for you. Bam. Just popped up. Type in the chat what y'all call these. Whoever on here now. Type in the chat what y'all. That dang shot is good. It's gone. The brand is called Shotties. Green tea shot with American whiskey. Shotties. But anyway. Woo! So. Dang, that's good. So y'all call it icy cups. Okay. So it's on the screen. I just want to give it a second, make sure everything's loading up on the screen. I'm going to read y'all the names. When I asked this question on Facebook, everybody was sending me names of what they call this. And I thought icy cups was universal. I thought everybody called it icy cups. So here are the names I got. I got my paper over here. I pulled this from my Facebook before the stream. We have chili bear. No, hold on. We got icy cups. That's what I call it. We got chili bears. I should have put the states that said this stuff too. But chili bears was the answer. Huckabucks. I feel like I heard huckabucks before, but I thought huckabucks was something different. Or maybe I'm getting confused with like a gas station or something. But we got huckabucks. That was the answer. We got honey drippers. That sounds nasty, don't it? And some of these names, y'all are freaky. We got honey drippers. Honey drippers. All right. Then we got cold cup. Cold cup was another one. We got frozen cup. I see Neek put in the chat Kool-Aid freezies. I didn't have that one on here. I had one close. The next one I have is close to that, Neek. I got Kool-Aid cups. So some people just call it Kool-Aid cups. That's exactly what it is. It's Kool-Aid in the cup. We got cupsicles. What y'all always was doing was making. We weren't doing nothing but making popsicles. And I don't know. This ain't no regular popsicle, though. I'm going to tell y'all about this here in a second. So we got cupsicles. We got freeze cups. Was another name I got. We got juleps. I don't understand that name at all. I think that was from Florida. I want to say that the person that said that one was from Florida. They call it juleps. Julips. Yeah, I didn't get that one at all. Thrills. Like what y'all doing, man? Thrills? Really? Thrills. I'm gonna type that in the chat. Like the spelling. Thrills. I'm commenting from my page, so you'll see it's me talking in the chat. Thrills and juleps. What? You called it huckabucks too, Kelly? So Kelly called it huckabucks too. I didn't know it was called huckabucks. And now it gets freaky, y'all. This the freakiest name I heard. What up, Angelica? This the freakiest word I heard for what these are called. Somebody's called it lily dillies. A lily dilly. Like what? A lily dilly. I ain't never heard this called a lily. So anyway, I'm making icy cups. So y'all, I'm seeing now we all call it something different from where we're from. I think that's amazing. I did not think that icy cups would have 15 different names in different states and all these different regions. But that's pretty dope because we all at some point grew up on them or had them before, which is I think is pretty dope. So let's fast forward. So my grandmother, we put the icy cups in there. You heard of Lily Dillies? So we put the icy cups in there, and now I'm like, cool. You know, we got the icy cups in there. She's like, come back about 4 or 5 hours later. So I'm out riding my bike. I'm playing with my friends in the neighborhood. We going up to the park, 24th, 25th. We up and down the streets and stuff. And I come back and I check on my grandma, and I was like, are they done? Are they frozen? She's like, yeah. She's like, go ahead. She said, go grab us 2 of them, and we're going to sit on the porch and eat them. So I go grab 2 of icy cups out of the shed. That's which I found out that was actually my first business. But I go grab 2 icy cups out of the shed. We go sit on the porch. My grandma, she ate it different. She told me to go get a spoon because she liked to chop hers up, and she kind of ate it like a snow cone type of deal. So she was chopping it up like that, and she was eating hers with a spoon. Me, I'm over here just going to town on this icy cup, and I ain't pausing nothing. I'm about to be 40. I'm letting y'all know I ain't pausing nothing. So I got this icy cup, and I'm just licking the top of it. I'm going to town. Then I start peeling the styrofoam away. So now I'm biting the side of it. But then this is where this is where you unlock the secret to icy cups. And I asked Carter before I took him to work today. I showed him the picture that I was going to show on the stream. I said, hey, man, you ever seen this before? And he was like, no, what's that? And I was like, man, I failed as a dad. Dog, I might make icy cups this weekend with the boys just so they can experience how good these things are. It ain't just Kool-Aid. It's something about it. It's like magical. When the Kool-Aid mixes with the styrofoam, you got to get the all white sugar. We ain't gonna do it healthy. We ain't doing no cane sugar. We doing all white powder sugar, like not powdered sugar, but you know what I'm talking about. That all white thing. So anyway, we sitting on the porch, right? So my grandmother, she eating hers. I'm over here going crazy on mom. My lips pink, red, from the cherry flavor. Tongue's all red. You unlock the secret when it melts enough for you to be able to grab the icy cup and pull it out the cup and suck on the bottom of it. I told you I ain't pausing nothing. You sucking on, listen, all the sugar was at the bottom of the ice. Boy, all the sugar is at the bottom. That's the best part of the icy cup. So I'm on the bottom just like going to town on this icy cup. So then we got kids riding through the neighborhood. So this 15th Street is real busy. We got kids riding up and down the street. And my grandmother, we on the front porch. So we just sitting on the porch. Her porch is elevated. We can see everything from her front porch. So some kids are riding bikes. And she's like, hey, she's like, do y'all want an icy cup? And the kid, one of the kids, he was like, I don't even know what that is. And she was like, come here. So she gave him one. And she's like, they 50 cents. She's like, bring me, she gave him one for free. Y'all hear this? My girl gave him one for free. What does it sound like? He went back home. He came back with like 15 kids. This one kid came back with like 15 kids. And my grandmother said, I need all y'all go get 50 cents. Y'all go get 50 cents. And my grandson, he gonna give y'all an icy cup. We had one flavor at the time. That's why I love this picture, because it really reminds me of my grandmother. We had one flavor. We was just dealing cherry at the time. So we sell, they come back. So I'm selling. I'm getting just quarters. Now, mind you, I'm younger, so everything is cheaper at this point. So a bag of sugar is probably $2. Styrofoam cups are probably like $1 for like 20. Like everything was cheap then. So this is like early 2000s or whatever, or something like that. I don't know. I'm all off of my time. 90s. It's in the 90s. It was in the 90s. So I'm selling. I'm selling icy cups. So the next day, my grandma was like, make sure you come back over here because you got to refill these cups. And I need you to go to the store and buy some more styrofoam cups. Now, in Illinois, in Mount Vernon, I'm like 8 or 9 years old, but I'm all over town. Like, as long as I got my bike, I'm over town like I'm in a vehicle. Like, it ain't stopping me from doing nothing. So I'm going to the store by myself. I'm buying sugar. I got the bag strapped to my bicycle. I got styrofoam cups. And then I was like, you know what? I'm about to do some different flavors. I got to take this up a notch. Like, cherry is cool, but I'm about to go ahead and take this up a notch, and I'm about to get grape. I'm about to get a blue, just so we can have some blue ones. I'm getting red. So I started getting other flavors. So then I started packing the freezer out with all these different flavor icy cups. And my grandma was like, you can keep the money, but she's like, don't make sure you don't spend it all, because you got to use some of that money to buy more product. Y'all, it was like blue magic. It's like blue magic. So I'm out here willing and dealing, not even noticing that I'm running my first business. Like, this is my first entrepreneurial business that I'm running, and I'm like 8 years old, but everybody in the neighborhood know me as the icy cup kid. Like, he got the icy cups. I had a key. My dad came over. He actually, I remember my dad came over, and he put a lock on the shed, because the shed was it didn't have no lock on it, so anybody could just go in there and steal them. So my dad came over and he put a lock on the shed, had a little deadbolt thing. And I just remember my grandmother, she'd be out doing what she got to do all day, ripping and running. And I'll just be all day during the summer, just booming icy cups. I'm talking about all we had to buy was styrofoam cups and Kool-Aid and sugar. That was it. The water was coming off the tap, so we didn't have to worry about the water. I'm just right there. We water hose kids anyway, but I wasn't using water hose, but I was using the sink. But I'm like, hey, the water coming right off the tap. And I'm stirring up this Kool-Aid. I'm making it super sweet. And I'm filling up these cups. I'm dropping them. I'm making sure every day my inventory is stocked, because I don't know how many people going to need stuff for the next day. Then my grandmother ended up getting a second freezer. So we had the chest deep freezer. And then she got the stand-up deep freezer with the doors. I love that, because I didn't have to keep trying to balance this big old metal tray being young and trying to stick it down there without, I knocked over cups sometimes. So it was getting messy. The freezer was starting to get nasty because I was spilling. So when she got the doors, I was like, thank you. Because I just took them out and I just set them all in the door frame. And I just made sure I opened the doors slowly, and I was in business. So that was my first like business. And I'm like 8 to 10 years old. So I'm over here just like, yo, this is it. I'm making money during the summer. That little 50 cents started adding up. I started charging people $1 for some of them. Like, if I ain't feel like having to go all the way back to the house, I started charging people like a travel fee. I was like, look, we at the park. Y'all we can go get a snow cone up here by Gene, or we can go to the park and get a snow cone, or we can go back to my grandma's house, and I got icy cups for days. What we trying to do? But we going all back to my grandma's house. Y'all gonna have to give me $1. So I started raising the prices. I'm mixing flavors. So the cherry is 25 cents. It's 50 cents for the grape. But if you want the grape blue raspberry mix, bro, that's $1. Like we slanging now. This is like this. We in the game. This the game now. So I go through the whole summer selling icy cups. Every summer I came home, that was my business. The shed was mine. I had a shed. Every summer I came home, the first thing I did, my mom would drop me off, And I'm talking about 24 hours later, I was in that shed, already cleaning the shed up, making sure the freezer box was cleaned out, getting my trays, stocking up on my sugar. It was basically my lemonade stand. So I was going crazy with that. Let me take this little thing off here real quick. So I'm going crazy with the icy cups, right? So every summer I'm making money, and I didn't even realize like that my grandmother was instilling an entrepreneurial mindset in me, and she was teaching me how to make a profit, how to work for myself, how to put some money in my pocket. So even in Illinois, even as a young kid, I had a paper route at one point, but outside the paper route, icy cups was my thing. That was my jam. And it was funny because I put this on Facebook and I asked people about it, and it was so cool because I put no context. All I put was, what do y'all call these when y'all was growing up? And I had like 4 or 5 people, childhood friends, that commented and was like, yo, your grandmother icy cups were like, oh my gosh. Like, I'm telling y'all, I don't know what it was about her icy cups, but it was something about it. I don't know what it was, but it was just something about it. It wasn't just no icy cups. Like, it was different. So I wanted to share that with y'all, man, because I was really thinking about business. I know people always like, man, y'all do so many different things and so many different jobs. And I started going back, like, dang, when did I start becoming an entrepreneur? And then I thought about that. I was like, man, that was actually my first business. My grandmother actually put me on to my first business. So let's fast forward a little bit. We're going to go to topic business number 2. As you can see, this little screen is a little small. Actually, I'm going to blow this up for y'all so y'all can see this picture, because I worked hard on this picture, but it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So I'm going to blow it up for a second just for the sake of the stream. Oops. Let's drag this just so I can see. Let's do this real quick. And then I'm going to block this one. Oh, wrong one. Block that one. Is that the right one? There we go. All right, yeah, I just want to blow that up for a quick second. I'm going to cover my face. It's all good. I just want y'all to see this for a second. So these are the 3 topics that we're covering tonight. I like OBS. I'm using OBS if y'all ever decide to do some podcasting. So, ice cold hustle. That was me. That's more of a snow cone, but you get the point. It was icy cups. I was out there booming icy cups. So the second thing we're going to talk about is how I got into the tax business. So we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. So we're going to close this chapter right here. This is my first little taste of entrepreneurship was selling icy cups at 8 years old. That's when I started finding out, hey, business ownership ain't too bad. I'm out here making a little bit of bread. I'm out making some money over here. So we got taxes. We're going to talk about the beauty industry a little bit with the barber. All right, so let me go ahead and lock that back. Where my other screen go? Bam, bam, bam. Okay, we good. We back. All right, so little switch. Let's talk about the tax business. So we're going to fast forward. So remember, I'm like 8 years old. We about to fast forward all the way to college. So there's a big gap. So in between all that, from 8 years old, there's high school. I worked at Publix. I worked at a place called Food Depot. Some of y'all may have never heard of that grocery store, but I worked at Food Depot first, then Publix. That kind of got me through college. Then got to college, started working at Red Lobster. These are actual jobs, though. I'm gonna cover some of those in future podcasts, but those are actually jobs. The big work came in when I started working at in college. So when I got to college, so we in school, and I remember this so vividly because I remember what spun everything out of control in our household. So the thing, hold on one second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me make sure this. People are having a little issue with the notification. I just want to make sure everybody can actually see the notification that we live right now. Yeah, if y'all don't mind sharing the stream too, I don't know. If y'all can do that, that'd be awesome. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So, all right, we're going to keep it rolling. So, we in college. Going to Valdosta State University. At this time, Kelly has had Kyle. So, we've had our first child. We're both working at Red Lobster. Yeah, we were both working at Red Lobster at the time. And we're actually not doing too bad. So we're working at Red Lobster. We're doing pretty good. We're making some money, waiting tables, serving. She's hosting, serving, a little bit of everything. I'm doing some training. I was a certified trainer / server. So we killing it. We doing all right. For some broke college students. Some folks in school. We got our own apartment. I think we did have our own apartment at the time before we moved. Yeah, yeah. I think that was North Lake Drive. So we had our own apartment at the time, and this is when it got crazy. We had a hurricane come through about Austin. So if y'all was there like 2000, it's like six-ish maybe. I think that's right. I'm bad at my dates, but let's keep it going. So we had a hurricane come through Bad Austin. When the hurricane came through, guess what happened? Remember, we servers tore up the town. Palm trees are down. Town's rebuilding. The town's getting cleaned back up. The university is all trash. There's palm tree leaves all over the place. We had a bad storm. And what happened was people stopped coming out to eat. Now, I was not a saver in college. We were paycheck to paycheck. Made some money, we paid a bill. Made some money, we paid a bill. So, when that hurricane came through, I'm at the restaurant and I'm looking around. It's ghost town. Nobody's coming out to eat. So this went on for weeks. And I'm just like, we about to fall behind. Like, we got cell phone bill, water, electricity, apartment note, rent. So I'm like, man, we about to be hurting. So my Uncle Darren, remember my grandmother had 6 boys, 5 girls. And it's crazy. I gotta fact check this. I honestly think all 11 kids were entrepreneurs. If I'm not mistaken, they had jobs too, but I'm saying like they had an entrepreneur spirit, like they did something on the side. All 11 kids, I'm almost 100% positive they all had a job. I mean, a business in some aspect of life. So my Uncle Darren, he's out. I want to say he was in North Carolina at the time, and he got into the tax business. He was doing taxes. He calls my Uncle Derek, and he puts my Uncle Derek on the taxes. And then my Uncle Derek calls my Uncle Calvin, my Uncle Dobie is what I call him, and he puts Dobie on the taxes. Now, mind you, I'm in college struggling. So I get a phone call, and I'm talking to my sister, and I'm like, talking to her about, hey, we falling behind on bills, the rent's due, X, Y, and Z. It ain't looking too good down here. Like, this hurricane messed everything up. Our finances are all out of whack. We struggling. So, we talk about that, and then my Uncle Derek says, well, if you come back up to Atlanta, or you move back, I'll teach you the tax business. And, my family on here, how everybody talk. Like, hey, nephew, we got the tax business going. You need to come back up to Atlanta. We'll teach you the game, blah, 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 blah. There's money in this. And then, my Uncle Darren called me super, super smart. I think he's the smartest. I ain't trying to take a shot at none of my uncles, but I 100% think that's my smartest uncle when I say IQ level. So they gonna get mad. They might fight over that, but genius. I mean, super smart dude. And he's just like, man, he's like, nephew, this is what we doing. Bah, 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 bah. And he's just talking all fast. And he was like, you gonna make $500 an hour, $600 an hour. You getting the business taxes, you making $1,000 an hour. And I'm sitting here like, man, it'll take me a month to make $1,000 at Red Lobster. At least 2 to 3 weeks. A couple real good weekends. So we moved back. We ended up moving back. Me, Kelly, baby Kyle, we moved back. And we get to, we stay with my sister. So we moved back, we stay with my sister. And I link up with my Uncle Derek, and then he teaches me the tax business. He has an office already established, and he's like, look, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you how to input these tax returns, and this is how you're going to market. You're going to get 500 business cards, and this was the game. He was like, I want you to get a box of 500 business cards. We in Conyers, Georgia. So he's like, we in Conyers, Lithonia, and I want you to drive around. He said, every single mom that you see that got a kid, I want you to just ask them one question. Hey, ma'am, if you don't mind me asking, who did your taxes last year? Now, mind you, this is probably like a November, December time period. So tax season is looming. It's coming up in January. So I'm out here with all these business cards, and my whole script was so easy. Excuse me, miss, who did your taxes last year? If you don't mind me asking. Now, if you're in Georgia, people are kind of used to people kind of hustling and talking, and, it's kind of normal routine. So nobody, I don't think, felt offended. Everybody was like, oh, I went to H&R Block last year. And I was okay. I was like, man, my family, we do have a tax business that's newly established, certified in doing taxes. And one thing that we want to do is, bring money back into our community. So we don't want to charge you what H&R Block is charging you. So I don't know how much he charged you last year, but I know it's going to be more than what we will charge you to do the same amount of work. And I would hand them a business card. If you don't mind, I'd love to, get a shot at doing your taxes. And I'll put a business card in their hand. My uncle told me the game was real simple. He said, you got a box of 500 business cards. He said, if you pass out all 500 business cards, you should do anywhere between 60 to 100 clients. So we're playing off a marketing strategy called the law of large numbers. And it basically means if you do a whole bunch of work, you're bound to get a sale. So I'm out here passing out these business cards. I'm in Walmart. That was my spot. Walmart and Conyers was my gold pot for finding clients because everybody said yes. I had my nice little polo shirt on. What was our business name? It was called oh dang, what's the name of the tax office? Tax what was it? Dang, I forgot the name of the tax office. Anyway, so I had my polo shirt on, dressed nice, and I'm just walking around, and I'm probably at this point maybe 24, maybe 25. So pretty young guy, young entrepreneur, and I'm out here in Walmart, and I'm just anybody I saw that had kids, I was putting a business card in hands. The reason we was doing that and we was targeting single moms with kids is because number one, it was one of the easiest tax returns to do. It's just a head of household tax return, and we knew they was getting money back because they got dependents. So it was just easy. We didn't have to put no brain power into it. It was like, man, let's go target all the single moms with kids. We in Georgia, so it's a lot of them. So that was our marketing strategy. It wasn't nothing super fancy. I wasn't looking for lawyers and business owners. I wasn't looking for none of that I got now. I was just looking for single moms with kids. Easy tax returns, easy head of households. They all getting 7 to 8 grand back. We're gonna charge them 300-400, and H&R Block gonna charge them 500-600. So we undercutting H&R Block, and we gonna make this money. So that was my hustle. Now, give me 1 second. I got my calculator right here. Actually, I'm gonna do it on my computer. So, tax season number 1. I'm passing out all these business cards, right? I'm going crazy with the business cards. And I'm gonna do the numbers on a very, very low scale. So mind you, I'm coming from being a server at Red Lobster, where minimum wage was like $1 or $2 or something like that, $1.75, and then everything was based off of tips. So with that being said, I might have been making $25,000 a year, maybe about 25, maybe $30,000 a year in tips. That was just keeping us afloat on paying our bills. We ain't had no extra money. So I'm in a tax business, and I got my calculator right here, and I'm gonna do 60. I think I might have done like 60 clients my first year, and I'm gonna do times $400 because the average that we was charging all those clients was about $400 because H&R Block at the time was charging like $550, $600. So we were just trying to undercut H&R Block. So 60 times 400 is $24,000. So I ain't making these numbers up. I got my calculator right here. So that's 24 grand. When the light bulb went off for me is I was sitting there and I was like, it takes me a whole year to make $24,000 at Red Lobster. I just worked a month and a half in the tax business and made $24,000. Then that season ended and my uncle took the whole year off because he was the boss. You know, he was overriding everything, so he had the big dough. And I know is that he took the year off. He was my cousins. He was at all the baseball games. They danced stuff. They cheerleaded and stuff. And I didn't see him work the rest of the year. And then until tax season came back around. So now I'm sitting here like, hold on. If it took me a whole year to make $24,000, but I just worked a tax season, and in 2 months I made $24,000, what am I doing with my life? That's I really think that's where the light bulb went off. Like, you just condensed like 8 months out of the year and made the same amount of income. But this is where it got tricky. Let me go down to my tax business notes, man. I made a lot of money real quick my first tax season. I remember my uncle Darnell. My uncle Darnell caught me, and it was at the end of tax season, and he was killing it in the real estate field. So he down in Florida going crazy, making just going crazy in Florida, making money. So he calls me up, and he like, "Hey nephew, this is how my uncles talk. I got to do their voice." But my uncle Darnell, he's like, "Hey nephew, hey man, we down here in Florida, man. Hey, I need you to come down here, man. Bring the wife, bring the kids, man. I know y'all had a big tax season, bro. Nephew, come on down here, nephew. We at the club. We doing this. We got the 550, you know." So he talking like that, And I was like, hey, Unc, I can't come. And he was like, why not? I was like, Unc, I don't got no money. And he was like, huh? So at first, I honestly thought he was about to I thought he was about to let me have it. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I really thought he was about to like just completely just let me have it. Like, you blew all that money. You just came out of tax season. Where your money at? I thought he was gonna be like that. He wasn't. He was like, ah, man, you had your blowout. So there was a name for what I did. He said, man, you had your blowout. So I'm sitting here, I was like, what you mean by that? Like, what's the blowout? He's like, man, nephew, anytime you fall into some real money for the first time in your life, you always got to have your blowout. That's when you spend it all. You just blow it all. He's like, but you're going to get it back. He's like, but it's a lesson learned. He's like, but you got to get that first blowout, the blowout out of your system. He's like, that is where you just blow all the money. Y'all, on my notes over here, we wasn't spending money on no crazy stuff. On my notes, it literally says restaurants, the mall, closed. That really was it. It was really just restaurants. Every single day I was eating at a restaurant three times a day, like eating at a restaurant. So it was it was the mall, it was restaurants, and it was closed. Getting fresh. Hanging with my cousin. He was in the business too. So lunch break, we had this little Mexican spot. I remember the meal I was having. It was called the Tapatio Special. And basically it was a big old piece of tilapia. And they did like this Alfredo marinara on top of it with vegetables. Man, the meal was probably like $20. I'm having it twice a day, every single day, probably eating that meal. I remember one memory I got vividly is me and Kelly went to the mall. And I don't know if it was at Lenox Mall or we were downtown somewhere. But I remember we went to the mall and I purposely was trying not to leave the mall until we couldn't carry no more bags. Like, bro, just ignorant. I'm in the mall like, look, we'll leave when we can't carry no more bags. So we literally got all these bags and heading to the car. Thankfully we didn't get robbed. But we out here with all these bags and we heading to the car with just a ton of bags in our hand. But that was the blowout season. That was the season where I was like, hey, I done made the money. I'm about to spend it all. I'm just spending it. This is my first time really being able to look at, have money in my pocket. At all times I probably had like $1,000 to $1,500 cash on me. I had money in the bank. Our bills were paid, and it was like the most freeing moment to just know, man, we got some money. We ain't stressing right now. We got some money, and the money was coming in quick. So it was like I could spend this $500 because tomorrow I'm looking at my schedule. Man, I got 3 tax returns tomorrow. That's another $1,500 in like 20 minutes. Not 20 minutes, but probably 2 hours. 2 hours tops, 2.5 hours tops. That's another $1,500. Another $1,500, and the money was just coming in so fast. And I remember payroll. We had a fax machine. So when the payroll printed up, we knew it. So we all in the office submitting all these tax returns, and we don't get paid until the clients get paid. So the machine would go off, and you would just hear it, and all this long list of clients just came off. And my uncle come out of his office, snatch the paper, look at it, go back in his office, and he just grabbed the highlighter. He had different color highlighters. And what he was doing, he was highlighting our clients. So mine was like orange. He'd go through the whole list, and everybody that was in orange, those are my clients. Then he'd go back over it. Yellow, that's all Seth. That's all my cousin clients. Then my uncle's clients and James. So he was really just doing payroll for us. And then he's like, here you go. He cut his payroll. And I'm looking at my pockets. It's like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I'm like, yo, we balling. So we having a good time, man. But that was the blowout. That was what taught me that the tax business is dope, but it only lasts until April. January, February, March, April 15th, it starts to slow down. So now you got to really ask yourself, you got to budget. You got to budget your money. And I ain't know nothing about budgeting. I went in Primerica. I didn't have no financial principles outside of I was a broke college student. I was broke at Red Lobster, paycheck to paycheck. We had some good days at Red Lobster, some good weekends where we had some extra money. But for the most part, we was broke. And then to go into a business that's paying me thousands of dollars an hour, I got good at taxes very fast. Like super fast. Like my first tax season, I had like 60 clients. Tax season two, I'm in like the 150s by season two, because I'm like, I'm trying to do double what I just did. I'm trying to go crazy. I'm trying to break the bank. So that's where I got that hunger, and I was like, man, I'm about to go nuts. Like I'm about to make this money, and it was so much fun. Met so many great people. Still got some of those clients as well from Georgia. But that's what kind of got me into the tax business. And now, just to give y'all some perspective, because I've had people ask me about the tax business a lot. I want to give y'all some perspective. And I did this on Facebook a lot. I mean, on Facebook already, but I do want to give y'all some perspective though. Let's say most of the people that work at Jackson Hewitt, H&R Block, and those different tax offices, they're getting paid by the hour. So they're not getting paid like we get paid. They're not getting paid like commission or spreads or anything like that. They're getting paid an hourly rate. So they're probably making $20, maybe $30 an hour. And most people say, oh man, that's a good job. $20 an hour, $30 an hour, that might be a good job for a lot of people. So I just want to do this. Let's say it took you 2 years to build a clientele base, and you got your clientele to 150 people whose taxes you're going to prepare. I don't know what I'm at right now on this tax season. I know I'm over 90. But 150 people. Times that by $400. And let's say you just did a flat rate. Everybody you charge the same exact price, $400. That's $60,000 in 2 months. I'm not going to count January because tax season be starting really at the end of January because all the credits and, everything be frozen. So tax season really doesn't start in January, like the beginning of January. Tax season really doesn't start until almost February. So let's say February, March, and then you have half of April because it ends April 15th. If you build a clientele base of 150 people, you charge everyone $400. 400 times 150 is $60,000. Now, you do that one more time. You double, you tell all those people that you just did. So let's say it took you 2 years to build this up. Remember, this is part-time. This is something you're doing on the side hustle. It took you 2 years to get it to 60 grand. And all those people now know who you are, you're credible, and they're bringing their family members to you. That doubles your clientele. So now you got 300 people a year that you're processing. And if you keep the price at $400, now you made $120,000. So now you have a six-figure income, and you're only working 2 months out of the whole year. So when I seen those numbers and when they were broken down to me like that, I was like, my wheels just started turning. And then my uncle was like, well, let's say you hire 4 people. Now, most people, when I explain stuff like this, they start saying just dumb stuff. Oh, that sounds like a pyramid scheme. No, it sounds like American business. Either you're going to do the work or somebody else going to do the work. Or both of y'all could do the work. So I was like, what if you hired a team? You had 3 or 4 people working for you. That number triples. Now you're doing $250,000 to $500,000 as a total business because you're taking on more volume. Now you have a retirement. Now you can make $250,000 in 4 months and take the rest of the year off. So when I started seeing the numbers bigger like that, it started to expand my vision. The only downside was when you're working with family, sometimes everyone doesn't have the same vision. So to make a long story short, we all split up. I split from my uncle because I was like the young cat that was like, I'm trying to do business taxes. Because if I can do business taxes, I can charge $800. My uncle was like, I'm trying to stick with single moms and kids. Let's keep stuff simple. So there was just a disconnect. Like we just kind of outgrew each other's way of thinking about the business. He put me into the business. Forever thankful, forever grateful for that. But then it just came down to like a difference of where we saw the business going. So in his head, he wanted to go one direction with the business. In my head, I wanted to go a different direction with the business. So we left. I left. So I left and went rogue. I went and I worked for one of my friends' tax businesses for about 2 years as a transition. And then me and my brother-in-law decided to get the business for ourselves, start our own tax business. And we've been doing that ever since. Like we've been running our own business ever since as partners. So at the end of the day, long story short, the tax business, that middle topic, man, was one of the businesses that really showed me entrepreneurship at a higher level. The icy cups, that was just like the first little seed planted that you should work for yourself. Getting into the tax business, that's when I was like, I see why people are on yachts. I see why people can buy these type of cars. And it expanded my vision so much that it made it hard for me to hang around people with a smaller vision. And what was going on was I'd be around friends, and let's say they see like a pair of shoes, and they're like, "Man, $1,000 for a pair of shoes? I ain't paying that." But I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, "But they ain't make no shoes for nobody to buy them. Somebody can afford it, and somebody's gonna buy them, and it feels like they didn't even spend no money." And then when I got into the tax business, I was like, I started equating everything to a service. So I was like, well, the shoes $1,000, but really that's just 2 appointments for me. So if I do 2 appointments, that's going to take me probably like 2.5 hours. Shit, I can afford these shoes. And that was my mindset. I started equating everything to a dollar, everything to a tax client. And I started noticing, I was like, man, if I just do like 3 or 4 tax clients this week, I can afford that. If I can do 4 or 5 tax clients this week, I can afford that. And that's kind of where that piece of my entrepreneur journey really started to spark. So in 2000 and I would say 6 is when I started in the tax business. Maybe 2007. I might be off by a year. But that's when we moved back to Georgia, got into the tax business. I've done taxes consistently every single year since that time, since that first tax season. I've never taken a tax season off. Craziest part about this, I joined the military. I went to the military March of 2012. Yeah. I went to the military March 20. That's when I went to basic training, Fort Jackson. I went to the military March 2012. 3 months of basic training. So March, April, May, June. So March, April, May. It was about May. It was like end of May when I got out of basic. So I get out of basic, transition over to AIT school. So we had like a small break in there, a couple months, and then I transitioned over to AIT school. I go to Virginia. When I get out of basic, that's when you get your laptop back, you get your computers, you start logging back into all your social medias and all that stuff. And I log into my email, and I have clients in my email who are saying, we filed an extension because only you touching our taxes. And I was like, what? So I came out of basic training with a business deal, and I was like, oh snap, like I got to process these tax returns. So now these people that filed extensions just so I can still do their taxes. So the people didn't leave. And I'm thinking they're just going to find somewhere else to do their taxes. They just going to leave and whatever. The tax business is over for me. I'm in the military now. So now I'm like, oh, snap. So now I'm in AIT in my room doing taxes. And it's funny because my AIT school, they was pretty lax on me. Like my sergeants and everything, they was pretty lax on me because I was a little bit older. I don't want to talk too much about military on this podcast, on this episode, because it's a whole separate episode for the military piece. But they were pretty laxed on me. They knew I had a business. They were coming in my room asking me tax advice about their personal taxes. One of my sergeants, he had a lawn care business. So on the side, he was asking me questions about the lawn care business and how to do his Schedule C and what he could write off. So my AIT school was kind of like, it was a little different. It was almost like I was cadre in a sense. Like they wasn't really messing with me too much. We did all the exercises. I still did, got smoked and all that stuff. But it was just like, there was like a different respect, I guess, because I was a little bit older coming into AIT school also. So it wasn't super crazy. So that gets held. So that's what happens. In that little aspect there, the tax business, since then, I've done it consistently every single year since 2007, 2006, 2007. It's grown. I've lost clients naturally, just me moving to Colorado, back and forth. Now we got systems in place where we can take clients from all across the globe. All across the U.S. So with our website, so now things are a little different. But it's like a fluctuation. Every year though, we have an average number of clients that we've consistently done every single year, and this business has been like a pivotal piece to my entrepreneur journey and to my family's finances on a yearly basis. Like it is a huge part of our income. It's a huge part of allowing us to get caught up on things, to take vacations, to have some freedom with our family. And that's where I really started to notice. I was like, man, entrepreneurship, man, it's the way to go. Like, man, I'm making money. I can spend more time with my kids. And you got to ask yourself, anybody that's watching, if you take how much you make right now in a year, it's tax season, so you should know what you just made, your W-2. and you look at that box one and you ask yourself, what if you made that in 2 months instead of 12? How much different would your life look? Hold that thought. I'm gonna give me another green tea shot. How much different would your life look if you looked at your box one on your W-2 and whatever that number is, you made that in 2 months instead of 12? What would change? How would your life look? What would change? What would you do differently? Or would you do everything the same? I'm just curious. So, that's where the tax business is. That's where it's at with me. At this point now, we just want to scale it. We want to bring on more tax preparers at the end of this year. We want to train more people how to do taxes. We want to give everybody the blessing that we got. He's out. Oh, you down? Hey, this number two. This is number two. But that's where the tax business is. You know, I did about 6 tax returns today. I keep it between about 5 to 6 a day. Kids to be set for life, things like that. So it's just like we're nowhere, and I'm not bragging and boasting at all. Please don't take that, because we're nowhere where we want to be, but we're just now figuring it out to where we have been kind of slaving in the tax business for a long time, and now me and my brother-in-law, we're with our business and the moves that we made this year and switching ourselves over to being a firm, a full-service tax firm. It opened up a lot more doors to where now over this summer, we can host tax classes. We can put more people in the game. We can show more people what to do, exactly what we do, get certified, and start building a business for your family. So with that, it was like, cool. Like now we can give other people opportunity. It increases our income. It increases their income. It scales our business. And now we can really start turning this thing into a corporation. Now we can really start turning this business into something where we don't have to sit behind a computer like we're doing now all day. I got bags under my eyes. They don't go away. Well, that's because I go to the gym at freaking 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. But I'm up all day. And I'm just looking at like, man, like how great would it be to automate our tax business to where we still do all the same volume that we're doing, but I don't sit behind the computer and do anything. I'm going to tell y'all a little secret, and I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is barbering. In Kyle's perfect world, if you were to ask me, Kyle, what could you see yourself doing for the rest of your life? Like if I was just wanting to just really lay into my military, being disabled veteran, just chilling, relaxing, and having a hobby, I kid you not, y'all, it'd be right here doing what I'm doing right now. Podcasting, reviewing products, playing video games, reviewing video games, streaming video games. I have been a gamer since I came out the womb. I have been a gamer from Sega Genesis to Atari to Super Nintendo to Nintendo. Screw X. We don't talk about Xbox. Y'all lame. I'm about to get a PC. That's my only thing I'm buying. I'm gonna splurge a little bit. I might spend $2,000 this year on a PC, but I'm gonna get my PC built, and that's really so I can run all this stuff that I'm doing right now, the podcast and everything. I want to do some video editing. I want to blog. I want to go to restaurants. Me and Kelly went to a restaurant, just being able to record things. That's the social content. I love it. It's so much fun. I want to create. I'm a creator. It gives me things to do on a daily basis. That's what I will be doing. But we got to automate things first because the income still has to come in and support that. And that's what all my businesses. All my businesses right now are being now in a place where, or putting them in a place where they're going to go into like automation, to where not saying AI or robots, but hiring teams and teammates to where work is still getting done and I don't got to be there. That's ownership. That's business ownership. Mr. Walmart is not at Walmart right now. His family is probably on vacation. They probably in Italy or somewhere. I don't know. But they got a system and a structure in place to where they don't have to show up and they still make a lot of money. So when people say, man, you talk about money a lot, well, I'm a financial advisor, so I do. Yeah, that's my job, is to talk about money. But it's because of what money can bring you. And it's just really just that peace of mind and freedom. Being able to just wake up. I tell my Primerica team this all the time. They know my overall goal, my overall dream for our team is to wake up one day and just be like, yo, what you doing today? And they say nothing. And I just like, you want to go to Hawaii tomorrow? And no one has to look at their bank account to know if they want to do that or not. That's my overall goal for my whole Primerica team. We're going to talk about that in another stream because we killing it right now with investments and everything. But I'm just like, that's my goal for my team. They know it. Hey, man, what you doing? Nothing? Hey, man, let's fly out to Germany. They got Oktoberfest. Let's go see what that's looking like in October. And nobody has to look at their bank account. The only thing we're looking at is what hotels we want to stay in and we start booking. That's my dream. That type of freedom. I want to travel. I want to experience life. And just have a good time. So let's get off of that. That's the tax business. That's what really 4 months out of every year. I'm behind the desk. January through, well, I say February through April. Let's say 3 months. February through April 15th. I really don't do taxes in January. Y'all know it. I be going on our fraternity cruise at the end of the year. I mean, at the end of January every year. I literally don't start taxes until I get back. So really it's February, March, April for me. 2.5 months is how much I work taxes. Outside of April 15th is extensions and a couple business returns. That's about it. And then everything starts to slow down. So I lock in so hard these 2 months because you got to get it while it's hot. I got to get all these clients processed now. There's like that sense of urgency. So I'll be putting in long hours. When y'all see me like, oh man, he fell asleep at the office. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. He woke back up, started doing taxes again. I go to work for my clients when it comes to taxes because I want to give them answers. I want them to get their money as fast as possible. Right now, with the economy the way it is, people need their money. I don't want to be the person they waiting on. So I'm trying to like process everything accurately and as fast as possible to get people in and out. I'm not even having long conversations with my clients right now. It's like I call you after tax season because they just know my eyes right now. I'm so locked in on getting all the work done that's in my pipeline and getting folks processed. So that's the tax business. So we talked about icy cups. We talked about taxes. The big business I'm going to skip over. The greatest business, greatest company in the world. I'm going to skip over it because I can't even. The way I'm going to break this business down, I have been waiting on this moment to break this business down like this for a while. Because it's so many haters, man. And I decided I'm not going to discuss that business on this episode. I'm going to discuss that on a total different episode. And Primerica is going to be a big part of that episode. I got to talk to Kelly because there's some ways I want to do this episode. But I got to talk about just the support systems, negativity, pyramid schemes. We're going to break that stuff down. Like for real, on a different episode. So this episode, we're going to stick to the play. We talked about icy cups. We talked about taxes. And now we're going to transition to the beauty industry. So give me 1 second. Let me unlock my little banner here. Episode 2 banner. That should be this one. Let's unlock it. Yep, there we go. I'm going to blow this up one more time. And then I am going to... I always click the wrong one. There we go. I just want to blow this up one more time so y'all can see the direction that we're going. Excuse me. I'm going to get out a second. I'm looking at my phone so I can... There's a little bit of a delay. I just want to make sure y'all tracking. Y'all following along. Because I be working hard on my little AI graphics. I want y'all to see them. So we got icy cups. We booming icy cups for $1. I call that... that was Blue Magic. That's what we were selling. Blue Magic. Back in the 90s. To kids. I was a Blue Magic seller. I was slinging icy cups. And whoever put in the chat that grape one was the best one. Grape was fire. So that's still one of my favorite snow cones. So the grape one was the best one. Then we got the tax business. Now we getting over to Barbary. Because people were like, hold on, bro. You got the tax. So I'm gonna run down a little bit of the businesses real quick. Because folks is like, dog, you doing a lot. We got the tax business, right? We got the beauty salon. So, Kelly, that was her baby. So she's doing a beauty salon. I came from doing icy cups. But then a lot of people's like, man, you must be like Jamaican or something, man. You got all these different businesses that you're doing. And I was like, no, I'm not Jamaican. I don't think I'm Jamaican. I'm Ghanaian is what I found out. I think that's what Kelly said. So We doing our ancestry and stuff. Um, but in the day, I've done a lot of different businesses. I've done door to door sales. You know, I'm not going to talk about that too much, but I was selling AT&T fiber optics. I was knocking on doors, door to door, and I was killing that as a salesperson. So I've done a lot of different businesses, but one of the things that that I wanted to focus on was was really starting to start doing things that I wanted to do. Like things that I was just like, man, it's always been something I just kind of wanted to do. So in college, I used to cut hair, but not professionally. It was more like I had my own clipper set to save money. I would be in the bathroom, just a one all over, even all over, punching in a little line, just enough to just hold me over because we were just broke. And then other people would say, hey man, can you line me up? So I'll punch in a little line. And it was just something, it wasn't nothing professional, but I did find peace in it. I was like, man, it's kind of fun. You know, barbering is kind of cool. I kind of like this. So then, coming out of school, you know, of course we had the kids. We got Kyle and Carter. He comes out with a ton of hair, so we don't have to cut his hair. But mainly it was just, you know, a little bit of a lineup, maybe punching a little bit of line. But we really didn't mess with his hair hardly ever, till recently. Kyle, I was cutting Kyle's hair a lot. So he was my practice dummy. So I was always trying to fade him, putting lightning bolts in the side of his head. And it was just always fun, but it wasn't like I'm trying to do this as a business. For me, it was just like, it's my son. I just want to make sure he ain't looking all janky. So let me cut his hair. That's all it was for Kyle. So that one wasn't too crazy. So then fast forwarding, you know, Kelly, she starts doing her thing. We get to Colorado. I'm in the military. She goes to Paul Mitchell. She graduates top of her class, opens up a beauty salon. Her story is just blooming. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want her to have the opportunity to maybe share some of that. But her story is going crazy. So I'm watching her do all these clients in the living room. And when you're around, I think she's like third or fourth generation stylist. When you're around someone whose whole family does that, like for a living, like that's their thing. You come in generations down. I think she's third generation because her grandfather, her mom, and then her. So I think she's third generation stylist. But yeah, so she's killing it. And I'm watching. And I'm watching all the clients. I'm watching people in our living room. Every day I get off work, I come in the living room, somebody in there getting their hair done. And she in there doing silk press, all the stuff. She doing all the works. And I just always just watched from the sideline. And I always made these comments where I was like, man, I'm going to go to school one day. I'm going to go to barber school. I'm going to get my barber license one day. But I never had any type of motivation to go work in a barbershop. I never even thought about it. I never thought about, oh, I want to be in a barbershop all day on my feet. It wasn't my thing. It just wasn't my thing. I didn't want to do that. So, kind of fast forward, I ended up getting a government contract. This is actually pretty recent. It's like 2019. 2019, I come under a government contract. My first job after leaving the military. I got out 2017. I've always been an entrepreneur since I got out. So it was just Primerica was my only source of income and taxes. And 2019, I decided one of my friends asked me, did I want to help him? And he works on a government contract. So he said, I can give you a job. And I was like, you know what? That would be kind of nice to have a little bit more guaranteed income, a little bit more stability, because it is risky as an entrepreneur. So having some guaranteed income helps out. So I come under contract as a government contractor. So what I do is I teach a program called SFL TAP. It is a military transition class for people getting out of the service. I'm a Western coordinator. I'm a senior facilitator for this company. So they fly me around the whole West Coast to teach a 2 or 3 day workshop about resume writing, becoming a civilian again, getting out of the military, finding jobs. So I work for the Department of Labor or Department of War. That's what we call it now. So I work for the Department of War. And I teach, and I get to give back to military service members. So I'm teaching classes, helping people find jobs, meeting great people every single month. So that's all flourishing. But inside of the curriculum, we have this thing with our military benefits called VRE. It's called vocational readiness. So I'm teaching this to the people who are just like me, got out the military, got disability ratings and things like that. And I'm teaching them how to find jobs. But some of the information I'm teaching them, I'm like, dang, I should use this myself. Like I got these benefits, but I'm not using them. I've never used my GI Bill. I finished my whole degree, my bachelor's degree, using tuition assistance. So in the military, if you got any military service members on here, you already know what that is. As long as you're active duty, at the time you can use TA, tuition assistance. It'll pay for your degree. So I used TA and I finished my bachelor's degree using tuition assistance. So I still haven't touched my GI Bill at all, which is great because now my kids are graduating, they can use it, and I'm 100%, so they can use my GI Bill. So I never used my GI Bill. Excuse me. Then I see this program called VRNE, Vocational Readiness. And it's basically a program that will pay for you to go get a certification or pay for some schooling as a transition to go into a different career based off of you being a disabled veteran and wanting to change careers. So it has nothing to do with your GI Bill. So I'm like, okay, I'm reading about this VRNE. I got a couple of friends that used the program, so I saw it in action. Friend Dosha, she used it a few times, and I saw her completing some certifications with it. And she was telling me, yeah, they pay for your, housing, they pay for this, they pay for that, they pay for your school, get your certs. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should do this. So that year, I think I said something to Kelly, and I was like, I'm going to barber school. And she was like, you keep saying it, you just need to do it. If you're going to do it, just do it. So she kind of put that pressure on me. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that, Caleb. I didn't know you could use TA in the reserves. This is why I like these chats too, because anybody else pass that information on so people can learn. Oh my God, let me hold on, y'all. Kelly, if Kelly in the chat, tell Greg don't text me while I'm podcasting. What he just texted me was diabolical. That dude nasty. Oh. So anyway, my friends know that I'm on a podcast, and he want to text me some ridiculousness. He went to a cosplay. He went to not a cosplay, but a Comic-Con or something like that, and he just showed me his outfit. Insane. But anyway, that just threw me off. I use TA. Oh no, I make the decision. My bad. That threw me off. This dude is insane. So what I do is I say, you know what? Talking to Kelly, we have a real conversation. I said, I'm gonna quit my job. I'm gonna talk to my boss, and I'm gonna let him know. I know I'm teaching the class, but I really want to utilize the benefits that I'm also teaching. So I told him, I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna go get my barber license. So I go down to the school here in Colorado. I get the information. I get the packet. It's 1,500 hours, and I'm like, dang man, this is a long time to be in school. Somebody, it's 1,500 hours. So I'm like, all right, the only way I can do this is either I do a full-time or I do a part-time. If I do a full-time, is Tuesday through Saturday, basically 8 to 3, 8 to 4, every single day, if I do a full-time. And I can get the school done in a year if I do it that way. If I do a part-time, I can keep my government contract, but basically when I get off work, I'll be going to school when I get off work. And to be honest with you, I'm glad I quit my job because I couldn't imagine speaking in front of a class of 40 plus service members for 8 hours, getting out of that and then having an hour to get to school, to go to school for 4 hours that night. Like I would have been totally exhausted. So I put my 2 weeks notice in. I did it at the perfect time. I waited to the end of the year. I started barber school in January. I quit my job in December. So it was just a nice, smooth transition. I didn't miss out on a lot of pay because tuition assistance kicked in. So I was still getting paid my basic housing allowance. So it's like I was going to school, but I had a job. Like school was my new job. So we kicking it down. So I'm like, I'm in school. Y'all, barber school sucks. 100%. It sucks. Barber school was not what I thought it was. And then Kyle was thinking about going. I tell him too. I was like, bro, it sucks. It's going to feel like you're in high school again, but you just got to do it. You just got to show up for the whole year and just get through it. It's 1,500 hours. It feels like you're in high school again. It's childish. You don't learn how to cut. And I don't want to bash my school, but I honestly was not confident at all in cutting. And I feel like I did market myself pretty well while I was in school. I did a lot of haircuts while I was in school. But there was just not I'm watching barber academies now on YouTube, and I'm just like, I wish I could have went to that school. Because if I did, I possibly would have came out of school and probably went and worked in a barbershop. Not even gonna lie. I came out of school, my confidence was so low coming out of school. Even when people say, man, you can cut. And I feel like now I'm pretty decent. But I got a long way to go. Because I don't practice it. Like, I don't practice it like every day. So coming out of school, I was just like, man, I was like doing women hair more. I was doing silk presses like Kelly. Like she showed me how to do silk presses. I was like, man, I'd rather just do silk presses. Like it's easier. So coming out of barber school, I didn't really feel confident. I passed my test, I passed my written, I passed my exam, I got my barber license. Great. But I just didn't feel prepared for taking on clientele. So even to this day, when I get like a referral and somebody's like, hey man, I heard you're a barber, can you cut my hair? Dog, I get the biggest pit in my stomach. I get the biggest set of nerves. I get scared because I just think in my head, Kyle, do you even know what you're doing? Can you even put out a good haircut? And I start self-doubting myself. It get bad, man. It gets so bad. So I do got some consistent clients. I have some consistent clients, and I honestly, my haircuts be coming out really good on them. But it's one of those things where it's like I was so scared to be in a barbershop, and then I get a random walk in and I mess them up, or I get a random walk in and it's a clipper over comb side part, and I just don't know how to do it or something, or I just forget how to do it. So that was like my biggest fear. Was like, man, I don't know. Like I want to be a cold barber, but it's the only way I would be a cold barber. I would have to take that leap and go work in a barbershop. It's got to be repetition. I got to get the reps in. I got to do like 1,000 haircuts. That's the only way you master anything. That's one of my favorite Bruce Lee quotes. He said, I don't fear the man who's mastered 1,000 different kicks. I fear the man who's mastered one kick 1,000 times. Because he going to kick the shit out of you. Somebody that practiced one technique, one kick 1,000 times, he going to kick the life out of you. But a dude that's practicing 1,000 different kicks, he ain't mastered nothing. So that kick going to come off kind of weak. So that's what it is with barbering. Like for me to be like a cold barber and to really feel confident and really like walk in that like aura of like, yo, I can cut. I would have to like go work in a barbershop. That's what it would take. Now I have a barbershop in my basement. I do some neighborhood cuts. I do my friends, folks come over to the house. I do Rough Riders, anybody need a haircut. Like it's more just like, hey man, come to the house. I got you. Like that's more what it is. But it's not like I never took it. Even when I opened the barbershop, I never took it to a level of this is about to pay the bills. I honestly like being a barber from an aspect of being able to give back. So when they have like a back to school drive and they need some extra barbers, I'm there. Actually, I got a meeting tomorrow on Zoom, but they're having a safety stand down, and I do this event every year. Excuse me. I do the safety stand down event every year. So actually, that's tomorrow, 1:00. So 1:00 tomorrow, I'm on a business call with Joint Base Military Operations to talk about their safety stand down day, where we cut homeless people and veterans and getting them ready for rehabilitation and different things like that. So for me, with my barber license, I like to call myself a charity barber. A charity barber. I think that's the best name. That is, if I'm in the neighborhood and I see a kid and his haircut's kind of, jacked up, or his hair's, he just needs a haircut. And let's say his mom can't afford it. I want to be the person that can be like, yo, I got you. How much I owe you, man? You good. Because one is allowing me to practice my skill set. And I'm not going to just butcher this kid's hair. Like I ain't that terrible, y'all. But it allows me to practice my skill set and I can give back. So I get that sense of, community, that community where I can say, you know what, I'm actually doing some community service in a sense. So for me, it's that give back piece to it. So that's where it is with the barbering for me. Like I got my barber license. I am a licensed barber. And I still cut, but it was never one of those things where I was like, oh, this is going to be that entrepreneur track that I'm just going to, I opened the barber shop with intentions. I had 3 chairs in there, intentions of filling those 3 booths, having 3 barbers rent those spaces. I come and go as I please, do a few haircuts here and there, and be in and out, when it comes to cutting. But I'm noticing one thing about barbering. As much as I say I don't want to just be or really dive into that arena, I'm addicted to haircuts. So if I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see like a fade tutorial, I'm stopping every time. I don't know what, because I've learned more about how to cut from Facebook and YouTube videos than I did in 1,500 hours of being in school. I learned how to do some color. I learned formulations. I learned scalp treatments. I learned facials. I learned how to roll a perm. I know how to do those things, but the art of cutting hair and systems and techniques is one of the things I'm like really starting to learn now. Blending up or fading up versus fading down. Looking at different, a lot the Egger. A lot of people like the Egger cut. It's a hard cut to do for a lot of barbers. So I'd be watching videos on that because I don't want to have a kid say, "Hey, can you give me an Egger?" I'm like, "God, dog." So it's just like looking at different things. To me, barbering is art. Someone comes in, they look a certain way, they feel a certain way, and then it becomes art. Um, I'm not big on like the what they call that stuff, the sprays but I see the purpose of it. I got spray in my hair now. Like at first, I was one of the dudes like every single time I went to a barber shop, if a barber pulled out that little airbrush gun, I'm like, "Hey, brother, I'm good. Like I'm natural. Let's keep it natural." But then, hey, you start getting older. I had a barber push me back. This corner right here is a little lighter. It's a little lighter than the other corner. So when that little corner got light, I was like, "Hey man, you got the enhancements." That's what I meant to say. You got them enhancements? Yeah, I'm gonna need a little, a little touch up. Just right here. Now the only thing I don't like about enhancements is because I work out. Is in the morning I'm a sweat. Now these enhancements are really good. I can get them wet and stuff, but they when it does like start to like wash out or kind of the fibers start to go away a little bit. Sometimes I see a little patching. But the good news is I'm a barber too. So what helps me out is I got everything downstairs to do touch up. So my barber uses the spray gun for enhancements. So my lineup is literally a little bit of a spray. But I like to use I like to use Gotta Be glue as my holder, and then I use actual hair fibers. So I got the fiber, and I just dust some fibers in any like light spots to darken it up a little bit. Then I just touch it up with a razor. So that was me with barbering. That was me with barbering. I tell people to this day, I don't have barber business cards. I'm not out here marketing myself as a barber. I am a licensed barber in Colorado Springs. I will collab with other barbers, but I probably won't take that full leap into that realm unless I am in a barber shop that will allow me to almost shadow, like a barber shop that would teach you. So it's not just I'm over here by myself cutting hair, but if someone looks over and sees me doing my cut, I want them to come over and say, "Hey, Kyle, let me show you something real quick. Hey, right here, if you do this, it saves you some time and it does X, Y, and Z." I need that. I wasn't getting that in school. What I was getting in school was I would watch a YouTube video and I would study it. Then I'll be in the middle of a cut, and because I looked confident, my teachers would back off, and then they wouldn't teach. So they like, "Oh man, he got it, man. His cut's coming out good," and they just left me alone. But they never came over and was like, "Hey, you see this line right here? Let me show you how to knock that out just a little bit better." So that aspect, and I'm harping on this business for a minute because I do want to do more in the barber field. I want to go back out to going back to hair shows and doing things like that in the barbering field and in the beauty field because it activates two sides of me. I'm a recognition person. I like to see things change. I don't like to do the same mundane things every single day. That's why I kind of hate taxes because it is literally the same thing every day. I memorized all the screens. It's boring to me. But barbering is art. It's like, dude, I see what you want. I see what you're trying to look like. You show me a picture. Now it's game on. Now I got to try to match this picture or get as close to this picture as I can to where you can turn around and look in the mirror and you do this and you do this and you say, "Appreciate it. That looks good." Then I'm like, I did it. And then I can take that $40. I need that $40 off of you. So, just looking at that industry, it's like, okay, there's a lot of industries that have shaped me. Barbering is probably the scariest industry to me. And that's honestly just because I come from Atlanta. Like, you mess with somebody's haircut, you might have to run a fade outside. Like, I've seen people, not me personally, but people have gotten shot over haircuts. So this ain't no industry that you, and I tell people this all the time. I'm going to end it with this with the barbering piece. I feel like barbering is the most unforgiving industry ever. There's no room for you to ever be bad. There's no room for it. It's like people expect you to finish school and be amazing at barbering as soon as you finish school. It's like no room for error. There's no room to make mistakes. You got to go from school to a great, from school to amazing. There's no in between. And that's the only thing I don't like about the beauty industry when it comes to barbering and maybe even cosmetologists is there's not that room for you to grow. It really feels like it expedites from you graduated school, you got a license, oh, you should know how to do this. And it's like, if only you knew, school taught me how to be, it taught me sanitation, how to make sure that you don't get an infection. It didn't teach me how to blend, how to cut for real. So I know the techniques behind it, but that takes a lot of repetition. And most people don't come out of school good. So I would say this, if you know anyone that's currently in school, going to barbering school, going to cosmetology school, and you decide to go to that school and let them do your hair, number one, you're probably paying $5 for that haircut or that hairstyle. Show them some mercy. Show them some grace. Because we don't know what the hell we doing. We in there learning. We nervous. So just show them some mercy. Show them some grace. Because it is nerve-wracking. Especially when we dealing with people's hair. It's nerve-wracking. So that would be my call to action, on that piece, is just show them folks some grace when it comes to that business. But that's barbering. That's barbering for me. So, kind of give you guys a little insight. Hold on one second. I'm going to tell y'all, I'm going to give y'all a little insider on what the next episode is going to be about. We're 2 weeks away from the episode that everybody's waiting for. All right, so I'm going to do a little recap as we wind up here at 7:30 my time. We didn't win an hour and a half. We didn't cover 3 topics that shaped me as an entrepreneur. Again, my name is Kyle Pettis. But I want to talk to you about a little recap of the episodes and kind of where my vision is going with the podcast. So episode 1 was called Church Ain't For Me. A lot of you joined that episode. I appreciate everyone who tuned in for that episode. It was a great episode. Leading out of that episode, I want to let you guys know I am 34 days straight right now of my Bible readings, which has been really eye-opening because I'm actually understanding stuff right now. So I'm in Exodus right now, so we're talking about the plagues in the Bible. So it's been dope. It's been dope. And the pharaohs, yeah, let my people go. So that's where I'm at right now in the Bible. Got baptized, and that was an amazing experience. So that all kind of stemmed off of episode 1, and it was titled Church Ain't For Me. So if you want to go back and watch the episode, go follow the Built from the Break page that I built. Go to photos, click on albums, and you'll see all the episodes. This episode will be loaded up tonight as well. The second episode, last week, we did the Tale of the 5 Dads. So that was me taking you on the journey of the 5 men who raised me. So my mom was married a few times, and then she had a couple relationships as well. But pretty much all in all, I had 5 men who kind of had some type of impact in my life or trauma. And that's what I covered last week. This week, this was called From Icy Cups to Empire, because that's what we're building right now. We're building an empire. But my whole entrepreneurship journey started selling icy cups in my grandmother's shed. And then it stemmed to being able to be in a tax business that I was brought in through my uncles, to now still having a tax business that's successful all these years later, which is a blessing. And then also venturing out to becoming a barber and going to school for 1,500 hours. Oh, one thing I didn't say, when I graduated school, I posted on LinkedIn that I graduated school and I was done. I got my barber license. And then the government contract saw that my old bosses saw my post on LinkedIn, and they sent me a message and they said, "You want your old job back?" So I am a government contractor again. So I have my job back. They offered me my job back as soon as I graduated because they didn't want me to quit, and they knew I was only quitting because I had to get those 1,500 hours knocked out, and there was no way I could do it while being under contract. So I left in good standing. They gave me my job back. They actually gave me my same exact position and a pay raise. So that was pretty cool to see how much they appreciated me and brought me back. And they actually just gave me another pay raise. So they doing a big one right now. So shout out to Circo. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. and all that. Salute. Next week, we did the Tale of the Five Dads. And I was like, dang, man, it'd be kind of cool to do the Tale of the Five Queens. The Tale of the Five Queens. So I did the Tale of the Five Dads. I should call it the Tale of the Five Kings. That would have been dope. But the Tale of the Five Queens. Maybe I would call it the Tale of the Five Moms. Because basically everybody on here. Yeah, you know what? We're going to change the name. Because I'm looking at the list. The Tale of the Five Moms. So we're going to talk about these five mamas I got. So we're going to talk about my biological mom, Carol. This is next week. We're going to talk about my sister, Erica. Because that's my mama. We're going to talk about Janet, who is my stepmother. But that's mom. That's my mama. We're going to talk about Bernstein, which is my grandmother. It got mother in it. And the honorable mention for the Tale of the Five Moms who have impacted my life growing up the whole way to where I'm at now is my godmother, Vermel. So that is going to be the Tale of the Five Moms. I call it the Queens, but we're going to change it. The Tale of the Five Moms is next week. So kind of like how we did last week where I went through memory lane with all five of my dads, I'm going to talk about the women in my life because that was a big pivotal piece of my life. Episode 5. I said it 5 for a reason because I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated and I'm a number 5. So episode 5 is going to be Homecoming. VSU edition. Old VSU, Valdosta State University. We're going to talk about relationships that I had in college. We're going to talk about fraternity life. We're going to talk about when I met Kelly. We're going to talk about kids. We're going to talk about fights. We're going to talk about Blue Juice. We're going to talk about why I picked Phi Beta Sigma over the other fraternities. Episode 5 is also sponsored. We have our first Built from the Break sponsor. And it is, and I got to collab. We're going to make this special. But this young lady has a patent for Blue Juice. Not a Phi Beta Sigma member, not a male, but a Zeta has the patent for Blue Juice and is sponsoring episode 5. And that episode is called Homecoming. And she's sending me some Blue Juice. And that's what I'm going to be sipping on stream is our fraternity drink from her patent. So she's going to be mailing me some Blue Juice. We're going to have a good old homecoming. And that episode honestly might go 2 weeks. Valdosta was not an episode I can do in one episode. It's just not. It's way too much stuff to happen in college. So I got to script that one out to know exactly what I want to talk about to get that done in 2 episodes. So that might be a 2-part episode. So episode 5 and 6 are probably going to be Valdosta. And then we have I'm up, they see me, I'm down. That's going to be week 6 or 7. I'm up, they see me, I'm down. So that's the name of the episode. If you understand what I just said, then you already know what the episode is all about. I'm up, they see me, I'm down. If you know, you know. That's going to be my military episode. I'm going to talk about me joining the Army. I'm going to talk about some funny stories from basic training. I'm going to talk about some funny stories in AIT. Because AIT was wild. 2 people went to jail in AIT when I was in AIT. We're going to talk about it. And guess what? It wasn't service members. I mean, it wasn't us. It was our sergeants. So we're going to talk about it. I'm up, they see me, I'm down. We're going to talk about my military injuries, my job in the military, why I got out the military. So that's that episode. I'm just giving y'all some spoilers, man, because y'all in here. I want to treat y'all well because y'all rocking with me. Y'all in here. So I want to give you what to expect coming up. In episode 7, I had this idea pop in my head, and it's called Relationships. Relationships. And what I mean by ships, I mean cruise ships. I mean relationships. That episode is going to go into stardom. What that episode is going to cover is what it's like being what it's like being popular or a celebrity, being in the celebrity status of being in a fraternity or sorority, what that looks like. because it's almost like being a celebrity in real life, but on a smaller scale. And I'm going to talk about the impact of that from a good way and a negative way, what that looks like. Um, to be the focal point in major organizations. So we got some good topics. We got some really, really. I got some stories for you about AIT school. Hey, we going and then the collaboration. We got the collaboration. I want to do the collaboration stream. That one's probably gonna be hooked from Zoom to Facebook Live, so I can get everybody on. But I want to do a collaboration stream at some point. So keep in mind that this whole platform was for me to work through traumas, therapies, become a better man, and also just really grow. Grow, be transparent with you guys, let you know struggles I went through in life, what's kind of shaped me as a man, decisions I made that were terrible, decisions I made that were great. We still got to do growing up in Atlanta, so we're gonna have the Jabot. I got some Jabot jeans in the garage. I'm gonna wear my Jabots in my tall white tee. So we gotta do that era. I don't got no grill no more, and I'm not buying one for y'all. But we gonna do that era so I can really show y'all Crazy K, the other side of me back in back in Atlanta, back in the trenches. What it was like, the stuff I was doing that my mama didn't know I was doing. It's gonna be some confessions on here. So we got some cool topics, man. Hopefully y'all excited. And leading up to the future weeks, we're gonna get into it. I'm excited about the topics. I put a lot of work into the topics. I'm scripting the topics out. I just want to make sure that not only can I tell my story, but I do want you guys to at least be engaged and be able to either relate to the stories and have those conversations off bar and hear your stories. And be able to share your stories as well. So I will say this as I end today. Number one, thank you all for joining. I'm going to start getting this downloaded into the page so that way you can always go back and watch this stream. And it's just, what's that say? Can't forget does that say do say or do rags? That's do rags. I think you meant to say do rags. Um, but yeah, I'm going to get all this loaded in. And biggest thing I just want to say, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate everybody for rocking with me. Yeah, I already knew what you meant. Like my do rag, I keep a do rag in every room in this house. So do rag is gonna be on that stream. I didn't have no hair like this, man. Y'all, I know y'all was laughing at my post earlier when I did my slow mo. I did my slow mo, but your boy locks. This all natural. This only a year locked up. Yeah, so we growing out here. We growing. Look, I can do this. I can throw my hair back now. I'm feeling like, all right, man, I feel like a bad bitch. But anyway, let me get off here. And that's my last cuss word for the day. I only had one cuss word today. I had to use it. So, this is Built from the Break, the podcast. This is a mental health podcast for myself. This is a therapy podcast. This is me approaching 40 years old. I turned 40 on August 13th of this year, and everything is changing in my life. Relationships are changing. Kids are changing. I'm changing. There's been mistakes made. There have been promises that have been broken. And then there's been a rebuild that's taken place as well. And that's one thing I want to just continue to do is stay on my journey. Right now, I am so, so grounded. And I'm so happy that I'm grounded because I was so far off path. So I'm just super excited about my journey as a man right now, approaching 40, being baptized, getting into the word, putting God first and putting him at the center of my life and the top of my life, and then having great, great, great relationships with friends and family. So if you rock with that, you rock with that message, that's what you're going to get from this podcast is transparency. You're going to get some fun, but I also want to unravel all the layers of Kyle as we try to figure out who he is and find out who Kyle is and bring him back. I don't even know how to finish this thing. That's what it is. That's the problem. That's what we're trying to figure out is that piece. And it's still, I haven't put it together yet. So when I find it out, hopefully we'll have a better close because we'll know who I am. So it might be a rocky close until we get to that point. Other than that, I love y'all. Stay blessed. Stay highly favored. I love everybody. It's a lot going on in the world. Forgive people. Love on people. Call somebody you haven't talked to in a while. Tell them that you haven't talked to them in a while. You just want to catch up. And check on people in your circle. Just because people are smiling don't mean they're all right. I've learned that in the military up to this day. I'm one of the best at smiling. And I always say, nobody checks to see if the lion is okay. I'm a Leo, but nobody ever checks to see if the lion is okay. So the folks that you think are super strong in your life, check on them too, because they could be facing some demons that you never even thought about in quiet. So check on everybody, love on everybody, and that's all I got for tonight's episode 3, from Icy Cups to Empire. I will see y'all later on the flip side, and I will see y'all in the group chats, and I'll see y'all on the page. Come talk to me. Other than that, love y'all, and I mean it.